Exhaust. I went outside for like
To make sure you like what you're wearing.
Or you don't like what I'm wearing?
Oh, no, I love what you're wearing, but I want you to be happy with it. Why don't you start filming this of how you're doing it?
I actually am also but we'll see, you know, it's also our first time doing this, so
small dice, so using blackberries, you could definitely use raspberries instead of apples. You could use pear. Hey everybody, today I'll be making blackberry and apple hand pies. The traditional hand pie is in the shape of a half circle or a circle, but today we'll be using these heart cookie cutters to make them Valentine's Day themed. To start off with our filling, we have 1 pound of pink lady apples, small diced, mixed with 1 pint of blackberries that are roughly chopped. For the rest of the filling, we have 1/4 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of light brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 1/4 cup of crystallized ginger, roughly chopped, and 3 tablespoons of orange juice mixed with 1 tablespoon of lemon zest. Okay, so for our filling, we already have our apples and our blackberries mixed together. We're going to add our 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour with our 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And we want to just mix that together. The flour is going to act as a thickener. It's going to make the juices from the apples and the blackberries flow and make this thick kind of just thick juice that's not runny. It's going to make it delicious. So once that's mixed in, we'll add our vanilla extract and our orange juice with the lemon zest. And the lemon zest is kind of gonna give you that lemon aroma without being too sour. And that orange juice is gonna sweeten up the blackberries a little bit, just in case they're not in season. But even if they are, just give it a nice little sweet flavor. And the lemon zest will counteract that if it's too sweet. Okay, for a little bit of heat, I have 1/4 cup of crystallized ginger. And crystallized ginger adds a texture to it, almost a chewy texture to it. And so it's a little different, and it's a nice balance of flavors because you have the heat from the crystallized ginger, you have the sour from the zest of the lemon, and you have the sweetness from the orange juice. So it's pretty easy. It's mixed all together, and now we're gonna go make our crust. Okay, so now for our pie dough. We have 1 cup of flour, 1 stick of butter cut into small cubes, 1/2 tablespoon of sugar, and 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. Now, we are gonna start with our 1 cup of flour and put it in a food processor. If you have a pastry blender and you just wanna do it by hand, that's fine too, but I prefer this because you have pie done in a matter of a couple seconds. So now we have our cold butter, and it's really, really vital for the butter to be cold because it's what causes the air to steam in the pie dough, and that's what creates the flaky layers of the pie dough. So we really want that cold. We have our sugar and our salt. Okay, so now we are going to blend this and pulse it until it becomes the size of peas, until the butter is just really small, and then pulse it a few more times until it binds together, and then take it out on our cutting board. Okay, so I have a couple of tablespoons of water. Sometimes if your dough does not bind well, just add a few tablespoons of ice water and it'll bind everything together. So it's starting to represent piecemeal and now it's clumping together. Now it's time to take out our dough. So what the water does is it acts as a binder, and especially if your butter is not cold enough or something, it can save your dough. I am just laying the hearts down on some parchment paper, and then we'll go ahead and put the filling on. Okay, so now that we have our dough cut out into the hearts, we're gonna go ahead and fill it with our filling. We also have some egg wash to go on top when we're ready for it to bake, and then just some sanding sugar. It's coarse sugar to go on top of it, so it adds a little bit of sheen when it bakes. I'm gonna use a tablespoon measure to fill these hand pies, and it just makes sure that you don't overfill it and it doesn't burst, so just 1 tablespoon per. You want to make sure you don't overstuff it, because I have been overzealous many times with things like this, and if I overstuff them, then they just burst and it's not a good ending. So try to stay meek with the filling. It'll turn out good, I promise. Instead of using blackberries, you could definitely use raspberries. Instead of apples, you could definitely use pears. You know, it's versatile to your wantings. Okay, so I am finishing them up with just the back of a fork, just to bind them and give them a pretty sheen. Okay, so I just have a little bit of egg wash here, which is an egg and just a tablespoon of water. And I have my sanding sugar. So they're ready to go in the oven. I'm just going to lightly coat them with my egg wash. This is gonna make them all shiny and pretty. And it's good we have the parchment paper under, because it's gonna be a quick cleanup for us, so that saves a lot of time. During baking, some of the filling kind of seeps out. That's okay. That's why we made it red, to be all pretty and festive anyway. They're mostly meant to be rustic fun desserts, so don't worry about it. And I'm just gonna sprinkle them with the sanding sugar I'm talking about. Kind of put however much you want. Like I said, it's kind of meant to be a rustic, fun dessert. Gonna make them sparkle a little bit. Okay, so these gonna go in a oven, 375 degrees for about 20 minutes until the juices start flowing and they're all bubbly and rich and delicious. Okay, let's go ahead and try one of these. Ooh. And you could already tell what that flour did was it binded all of those juices together and made it like a thick filling. So we're gonna try it. You get the crunch from the crust, which is really flaky, and the sugar on top. And the sweetness of the apples and the blackberries with a little bit of the zest, you could feel that. So it's delicious. So we just got these out of the oven, and they're nice and golden brown, and you see that sanding sugar kind of added a little bit of sheen to the hand pies. So they look delicious and rustic, and to go with a rustic theme, we're gonna put it just on a chalkboard slate, and this is for cheese, but I'm using it for hand pies because frankly you can use any type of food on it. And I just wrote Blackberry-Apple hand pies on it so people know what we're serving, and it's just something fun and alternative to the regular platter. So just kind of arrange them like that, and here they are, Blackberry-Apple heart hand pies.